Good morning. Let's get straight into it, shall we? Now, rams. Somebody messaged me and said, careful how much weight you put on. Look, it's kind of like this really. When it comes to keeping this thing up in the air, whatever I have to use to do that is whatever I have to use. Now, whether they're detachable or permanently fitted kind of dictates to where the weight is carried. Those rams, they are not light, I won't deny. Both of these together were quite heavy. These were the only ones I could find down the yard that were cheap enough. They're cab rams. They're designed for lifting lorry cabs. They're not designed for anything other than that. If you was to put a hydraulic pump to these, like a conventional system that you'd find on a tipper or a JCB or something like that, it wouldn't push them, because there's some tiny little valves in there that restrict. You need the hand pumps that you get on the side of the cab to move them, and you need the correct one for each ram as well, as I've discovered in the past. However, you can turn these into regular pumps by cutting the end off here, drilling all this muck out, cutting that off, welding a fitting on there, and making a new fitting up here. It can be done. I've done it before. However, for my application, I do not need them for hydraulics. I need them as a strut. I need something that can bolt to the side and be sturdy enough not to rattle around when this thing is up in the air, and that is the only thing I can find. Now, this channel is about recycling. It's always been about recycling as much as you possibly can, using the general crap that's lying around, and sometimes that's not the best way to go about doing things, but for me it's the only way I can do it, because lack of money. Don't get me wrong, the wood that's going in on the side of this is going to be brand new wood. The glass fibring is going to be brand new, obviously, because you can't use second hand. Because once it's been used, see, it's done, isn't it? So yes, that will be brand new. The interior, some of the wood will be brand new, some of it will be second hand. I want to put floorboards down, tongue and groove. If I can find some out of an old building, then great, they will be purchased and put in. However, the hydraulic side of things, or the screw ram side of things, is what these are going to be. They are second hand. Now, there's two ways I could do this. I can use these jacks here and take cut it across there, cut that shaft off, take that out, strip off that bracketry, so I'm left with the two screw points, and then I can have that run on the inside edge so it winds down and up. Or I can get rid of the sleeve itself, the whole of that sleeve, right, cut it back to here, and then weld a piece of this box, which I got down there, on as a new casing, and then use that smaller box that you can see sleeved inside as the internal, and I can do that. Sorry about that, I forgot to press record. Damn, as I was cutting that off. Right, so what I can work out, what you have inside here is there's a pin that sticks out there that goes in that little hole, and inside that little hole is a little valve system. I'm not 100% sure what it does, but I think it acts as a diverter for the fluids that you eventually flush through, because you've got your return pipe here. So I'm assuming that once it's pushed in, that opens up the valve, and then when you start pumping the fuel, the oil through, it keeps it open so as it can pump it up and closes it so you can't pump it back. And then once it's hit maximum, you switch the pump the other way and it then re-diverts back down. I'm assuming, I don't know fully. Curious as hell, because these do interest me a lot. But when I did my modifications on these a little while back, I did take that pin out and pretty much cut all that lot off and reworked it. Well, this explains the flex. So all of this just sits on that, which is in the screw thread itself. Okay, I have a little bit of a more understanding of this. I have no idea how I'm going to weld to that with the plastic that's on it. one's got me a little bit baffled at the moment. I may have to put it in a cup of water about yay high and then rest it upright and then put the sleeve over and weld it that way. I don't know. Okie dokes. What I've done is I've removed on that one. I need that slit down the tube, unfortunately, to stop that from spinning and not retracting. The problem is if I replace that outer tube, I'll end up putting heavier metal on and I'm adding to the weight. It's already attached, so well, as all experiments go, if you don't try, you don't succeed. And then sometimes when you do try, you still don't succeed. And unfortunately, that is the case with this. The bottom bearing set under that gear failed. What happened was, as I'm turning, it's lifting, but before it lifts this, it's lifted this out of it because there's a little bit of play in that screw thread, so it's lifted that right up. And it's pulled the bearing out, so upon lowering it back down, the bearing then tightens back up again. All the bearings have fell out. I did say that this could be a problem. Turned out it was a real pain in the butt problem. As I said, really what I needed was another box piece going over the top under this shaft with a bearing, a ball bearing, just one ball bearing. See, an indent hole drilled with another hole drilled, so the bearing would like it's there, you know, and then greased up, and that would have stopped that from raising up and down. Not a problem. It would have solved that, but I don't have the bits and bobs. There wasn't enough room. This hasn't worked. This is a bust. This is a very expensive bust as well. I won't go into how much money I've put into this idea, but more than I should have done. So, how the hell do I lift this damn thing off the back of the van at campsite or at home? How do I do it? Because that idea didn't work. Right, well, we're still here. I don't know if you can see this. I'm hoping you can. I think you can just make that out. Right, note the legs at the bottom for stability. Note the bit that splits in the middle, and what you can probably not see, you can see, is a permanent bolting position. And that, I think, is on the... As you know, that's telescopic, that one, but they're very, very expensive. But if we go back to that one, oh, it's not going to let me. Aha, here we go. Right, if we go to that one, you'll notice it's got the flat plate, and I'm assuming, yeah, possibly not. I'm not sure which, but I know in my one you've got a plastic sleeve up there, plastic sleeve down there, and the screw thread in the middle, and that uses that whole outer sleeve as stability. If I was to cut the pin off that comes out through the side that goes into the car jacking point and replace it with a piece of flat plate with holes in it and permanently bolt that on, right, and go back and go back to that one and put those legs, which I've got from the old car jacks, which I don't use anymore, so I could put a sleeve inside with a smaller tube and then put a screw thread on the end of that instead of it just being push in, so it gives it more stability. And then I could cut the tube in half, do the same again. My hand's in the way, sorry. So if I put in a screw thread there and cut that in half, put another screw thread in there, permanently bolt it to the side of the vehicle. Now I could put the handle back, or I could do what I did earlier, rip all that apart inside and put two outer bearings on, which I'd much prefer, and then a straighter rod, which means I can then use a drill if I need to, but the drill is a little bit too quick for the gearing. Although the one I've got on here is the one with the bevel gear instead of it being a sprocket. But whether I'm going to be able to find another one of these, I do not know. I don't know where that come from. I don't know what that is on there. But yeah, so get rid of that pin, weld a bigger plate across, bolt it straight onto the side, literally like that, but lower down. Jack system that folds up, so we put a bolt inside that, or a shaft with a bolt on, whichever. Fold that down, that flat packs up. I've got two of them. If I do that for the back, at least that's the back part figured out. I then just need to figure the front part out, which is a little bit more unstable because of where it is. I mean, the bolting points for this one will be here instead of nice and low down. Not a lot I can do about it, because the side of the tub is in the way. Now if I was to rip the tub off and put a flatbed, a tray on the back of my pickup, and use the sides on the tub as the new drop sides, so I could actually take them off the main tub, and I mean, it's a lot of work. I don't really want to do it, but I could do that, but I'm not gonna, so I don't even know why I mentioned it. But yeah, okay, this is my last attempt. If this doesn't work, then we might end up making a adventure trailer instead, and I might end up welding extra tubes along here and up, and sticking a couple of 4x4 axles on this with a piece of solid steel going through the middle for the tow hitch, and we'll make a trailer instead, which I don't want, absolutely don't want, but I'm getting a little bit stuck on what to do. Probably would be a better thing anyway, a trailer. Right, in advance, I'm going to tell you the parts I'm using. Silverline folding axle stands, 2 ton in weight, £21.99 on eBay. Okay, and the product number for that, if I can find it. Well, there's the Silverline part number. I'm going to pause the telly now. And if you want to go on the eBay and you want these ones, so it's 38690461347, and that is a Tool Time UK Limited is the guy who's selling them. Okay, so it's like this. We make 4 of them, and we bolt them on, and we jack the thing up, and then we put trusses underneath. So I'll make some flat pack trusses that can be packed in there just to help rest it, and then we lower it down on top of the trusses with the legs still hanging out, and we do our whatever it is we're doing, whether I'm driving the camper out from underneath or leaving it all on. So I've got to get a thread, tap and die for that. Oh, what's that dog barking at? Anyway, I failed to remember that the bed is sitting on my table, and my table is a lot higher than my pickup truck, so I've kind of made that leg a little bit too long. Oh dear. So what I've got to do, another bloody balls up, so I've got to put that tube on my lathe, and I've got to machine that weld off get that out of the jack, remachine it, put it back on. And also I need a tap and die, because these bolts here, because of the distortion of the heat, that's messed the metal up a bit, so I need to put that through and re-thread it just to clean it up. That's as far as I could get the thing to turn. I mean, it may just be that there isn't any more room inside there, I don't know, but I couldn't get that damn thing to turn, and it could be that when I welded it through the side, that might have heated up the nut and I've hit some dodgy thread. Who knows? But what I do know is I need to re-tap both. So I need to purchase one of those, or find out if a friend of mine happens to have some in the back of his van. Now, I don't know, he might have, who knows. So yeah, apart from cutting that down, and I think the best thing all around really is to make a hand cranker for that instead of using the drill, because when you use the drill, if you're not paying attention and it gets to the end of its stretch, top or bottom, it yanks the crap out of your hand, and it actually does damage to the up here. It does a lot of damage. So yeah, I think we might build a hand crank for that using some old spanners. Anyway, look, this is it. I'm absolutely roasting hot. It's cloudy but so muggy, really hot today. I've sweated non-stop. I need a break. It's evening time now, so this is it for the video. I will quietly get on with the other leg, and then at some point during the week we'll try and get the first piece of plywood fit to the floor, and we'll get that side piece along here up in, and we'll see what's left over after, to whether I can get the back piece done. I was going to power wash this all back, but you know what, the hell with it. I'm just going to wire brush back where I'm gluing, and I'm not going to worry about the rest. Look, it's all going to be hidden, it's all going to be capsulated. It's not going to rust any further. I do need to sort the welds out a little bit better than what they are. That's not me being lazy. Yeah, it's me being lazy, but whatever. Everything's nice and strong, so we're going to fill foam all the tubes. Anyway, all the box steel is all going to be foamed inside, so it don't progress any further in. Oh, hello. Pretty cat. Wonder who owns that. Not seen that before. Anyway, so that's my plan. Oh, you're slow. Yeah, you're slow. Anyhow, we'll see you on the next one. Laters.